Most life-altering events don't arrive with a warning. They don't start with a crisis. They start on a Tuesday, an unremarkable day where you pour your coffee and check your mail, unaware that the life you spent a decade building is being dismantled by the people you trust most. I had a best friend named Daniel. We had 12 years of history, through career changes, moves, and breakups. And I had Sophia. We were together for 3 years, a serious relationship that we both thought would last, until it eventually reached its end. When Sophia and I split in March, it felt like a clean break. I leaned on Daniel. He was there for the long calls and the drinks, acting as the support system you expect from a lifelong friend. When a friendship spans over a decade, you stop vetting their behavior. You don't look for hidden motives, because 12 years of consistency suggests there aren't any to find. But the consistency was a performance. Daniel and Sophia began texting each other daily, starting the very week she and I broke up. They kept this secret for 14 months. While I was thanking Daniel for his loyalty, he was quietly building a relationship with my ex-girlfriend. This chart shows the reality. Every day I spent healing was a day they spent together. I found out through a mutual friend at lunch. He mentioned an upcoming engagement party, assuming I had been informed. My brain stalled. The news was at odds with every conversation I'd had over the last year. The room didn't spin, it just became very difficult to hear anything over the sound of my own internal recalculation. This forces you to rewrite your own history. You have to revisit every brunch you missed and every busy weekend Daniel had, realizing they weren't accidents, they were choices made to keep you in the dark. There is a common expectation for what happens next, a scene, a confrontation, or angry messages sent in the middle of the night. I chose none of those. I went silent. I didn't call Daniel, I didn't text Sophia, and I didn't post anything to social media. I simply removed myself from their lives without a word. For a best friend of 12 years, that void is unsettling. Daniel reached out within a week, then he called. Then he sent 3 more texts over the following 14 days, asking why I had disappeared. I sent one reply. I think we've naturally grown apart, man. I wish you both well. Take care of yourself. By refusing to provide anger, I denied them the chance to feel like victims. If I had reacted with rage, they could have used my behavior to justify their betrayal. My silence left them with nothing to defend themselves against but their own actions. The trap of betrayal is that your life often stops while the people who hurt you keep moving. If you stay anchored to the anger, they win by default, because they are living while you are merely reacting. I made a list of every goal I had sidelined or compromised on during those 3 years with Sophia. I used that list as a strict set of instructions for my next 18 months. At month 6, I moved for a job I'd previously turned down. By month 14, I hit a fitness milestone to prove I could follow through. By month 18, the side business Daniel had dismissed grew enough to hire my first employee. Early on, my motivation was fueled by spite. I was working to show them they were wrong about me. But over time, the work itself became the reward. The spite burned away, leaving only the person I had actually become. By month 19, my life was stable. I was established in a city I liked, surrounded by people who knew me only as the person I was now. That was when Daniel reached out. He sent a long message saying he'd heard about the business and that he missed our friendship. At the end of the text, he mentioned that his relationship with Sophia had become difficult. The dynamic had shifted. The person who had moved on so easily was now reaching out from a place of regret, seeking a connection with the person he assumed he had left behind. I didn't feel the need to gloat. I didn't feel the urge to tell him he got what he deserved. Instead, I felt a genuine sense of relief. I replied and told him that I wasn't angry. I explained that his choices had forced me to build a life I never would have pursued otherwise. I told him I owed him for that. My reality today includes a thriving business and a secure relationship. Daniel and Sophia are married, and from what I hear, they are struggling. Revenge isn't about destruction. It's about outgrowing the situation so thoroughly that the betrayal is no longer a tragedy. It becomes a footnote, a small detail in the beginning of a much better story. The best way to answer a betrayal isn't to look back. It's to keep walking.